Gaza, I think I answered it, but if it was not clear, I will repeat. Gaza can be, without any kind of blockade, siege tomorrow. They just have to say yes, not to Israel, but yes to the conditions of the quartet. Quartet, those of you who don't know, it's the EU, the UN, US, and Russia. Not conditions of Israel. I mean, the decision are of the international community. So, but people, I mean, well, it's much easier to put all the blame on Israel. Now, when the only one thing that they produce is terror and rockets, this is the most justified siege. Most justified. We don't want terror. We don't want rockets targeted towards only civilian populations. That's all. We don't want anything. We don't want anything with them. We don't want territory. People are speaking about expansion. The opposite. It's shrinking, not expansion. We don't want. That's about Gaza. Tomorrow it can be solved. It is in the hands of the Palestinians. I'm, as a human being, willing to forgive the Hamas, paragraph 17, and all what they are broadcasting against Jews, against Christians, against communists. I'm, as a human being, let's forget it. But no more violence, that's all. I mean, it's not a big demand, that's all. No more violence, no more rockets. Second, about budget to schools, Arab schools. Let me tell you, for many years there was a kind of discrimination in Israel. I have to admit it. But slowly by slowly, Israel is going out of any form of discrimination. Slowly. To tell you that in every aspect we don't have more any kind of discrimination, I will not tell you. But I'm telling you, and I proved it in my research, that Israel, after and with all the discrimination, is a better place for Arabs than most of the European, all of the European countries. It's not better than the United States. So we cannot forget it. So to correct ourselves, yes, we do it. Exactly, it's about Ben Zadir, what's his name? I mean, he has many names. Let me tell you something. I said that Israel is the most self-criticized country. It's exactly the kind of process. Look, it's the Israeli media who slowly by slowly decided to go after the story. I don't know the details. I don't want to give you answers about things that I don't know. But I know again and again that the Israeli media is showing, is proving the very democratic way that Israel is. Whenever something wrong is happening, and in Israel bad things happen from time to time, let me tell you. Just like it's happening with Mali, with France in Mali, with NATO in Libya. Just by the way, for example, NATO, the HRW, Human Rights Watch, investigated only 8 attacks of NATO in Libya. They found out 72 civilians that were killed. 24 women, 20 children. Now, NATO asked, HRW asked NATO to conduct an investigation, self-investigation. They were refused. It never happened in Israel. In Israel, everything is investigated. We are not perfect. Yes, we have mistakes, but the system, the very democratic system, is the best cure. That's how you say it. It's the best cure. We don't need this kind of international propaganda and demonization. In many universities, let me tell you, people, when I speak and give this kind of statistics and proportions, people are asking me, look, but we hold you for higher standards. How can you compare Israel to other countries? Well, I have 2 answers. First of all, I compare Israel also to democratic states. NATO, Kosovo, and so the United States. But my second answer is very simple. Look, you asked me the question, your name is John, next to you Fatma is sitting. It's happening to me many times in the university, in the American universities. Now I'm telling him, when you tell me that you hold me for higher standards, it means that you tell Fatma, who came from Saudi Arabia or Syria or Jordan or whatever, or Iraq, you tell her that you hold her for lower standards. I think it can be called racism. You know what? We had enough. Because now double standards is just a form of racism. So don't do me a favor. Don't hold me for higher standards. Don't hold Fatma for lower standards. Thank you.
Yes, Yuval.
I have a question to Ben Dror. You spoke you mentioned a few times that you are in for two countries, for two nations. And I would like to ask a question about it, because at the moment what's happening in Israel that you have the Gaza Strip and you have the West Bank. And West Bank is mainly governed by the Fatah, and the Gaza Strip is mainly governed by Hamas. Realizing that these two territories don't have territorial continuity, where at Israel, would you please address this topic, because Hamas and Fatah do live different, I would say, agendas inside the Palestinian society, and how would you say, like, how do you see that vision of two states for two people, considering this, land thing?
Well, let me tell you, first of all, it's not going to be the first state without this kind of continuity. So it's not our problem, it's according to the UN resolution, partition resolution and so on, and according to every peace initiative, including the Arab initiative, including. So, I mean, it's not our problem that we are talking. Now, I can of course tell you it's kind of fake. I mean, it's because of the colonial borders that were created so many years ago. There is not any difference between the people of Rafah from the Palestinian side or the people of Rafah from the Egyptian side. I mean, we all know that it's a kind of game. There is not a separate identity, national identity in one side, which is the opposite to the other identity, national identity. I mean, they should be part of Egypt, if you ask me. I mean, it makes sense. But if they want a Palestinian state, I respect it. The same is with Jordan and the West Bank. I mean, there is not any difference. People speak about the one-state solution. Yes, let's go for it. One state between Gaza and Egypt. They are much closer. And one state between the West Bank and Jordan. Because the majority in Jordan are Palestinians. Why do you need two states? Why do you need two Palestinian states? I don't understand it. I mean, but you know what? Leave the logic. If they want their own identity, okay, let's have it. But it's their problem. Now, there is a separation, but it's not because of Israel. It's because of internal political problems. Look at what's happening in Lebanon. They're fighting each other. Hezbollah is taking over because it's becoming the strongest. Look at Syria. What's happening? They're killing each other. Look what's happening in Iraq. Iraq is actually three entities, to those of you who don't know. We are talking about three entities. The one-state solution, of course, is not working. Palestinians, two states. I mean, who needs two Palestinian states? One in Gaza, one in the West Bank. It's also kind of, I don't understand. But I respect their own will. That's all. I do respect. If they want to be a separate state, okay, let's go for it. But in one condition, not instead of Israel, alongside Israel. That's all. So I'm not going to solve the internal Palestinian problems and conflicts. But it's not something which is characterizing only the Palestinians. In every place in the Arab world, Algeria, I didn't mention, between 100 and 200,000 people were killed. I mean, it's not the business of Israel. As much as I know, Israel is not involved. In Somalia, it's not Israel involved. In Sudan, massacre in Darfur, nothing to do with Israel, but they are killing each other. So we have people don't understand the realities of the Middle East and the whole area of the Muslim world. People don't understand it. And they say again and again, it's because of Israel. The same is going, sorry to tell you, about the Islamic Jihad. People think that the Islamic Jihad is against Israel. Nothing to do with Israel. Every month, we are talking about hundreds or thousands of people that are killed because of the global jihad. Not Americans, not Israelis, not South Africans. They kill their own people. Muslims, oh, let's be correct, Islamists kill Muslims. But who cares about it? I mean, we are talking about human rights, but we forget 99% of the victims of nowadays. We just forget them. Look how much Israel and the Palestinian-Israeli conflict is in the news. And how much the very same media that is speaking about human rights is totally ignoring so many other conflicts. Who cares when they kill each other? Thousands. Thousands. Every week, every month. But who cares about it? So you are telling me that I should solve the problem between the Hamas and the Fatah? I cannot. I wish I could. I wish I could. I mean, we cannot solve the problem not of Algeria and not of Mali and not of Somali and not of Iraq. I want just to deliver the idea that all the conflicts, and 99% of the conflicts in the Arab world, in the world, have nothing to do with Israel. Just nothing. Zero. But how nice it is to find, how do you say it, scapegoat. And to speak about Israel again and again. Wow, Israel, it's all because of Israel. Nothing to do with Israel. Nothing to do with Israel. Not Fatah, Hamas, not Mali, and not Somali.
Any more questions?
Yeah. Hi there. I just have a question more to the organizers, maybe. What was the thinking behind not getting a real pro-Palestinian person as opposed to someone who could present that side but doesn't feel it themselves? Just out of interest.
Shimon, you want to answer?
Well, the beginning we thought about it, then we consulted Ben Dror and we consulted ourselves, and we decided that it won't be right to bring somebody who is actively causing anti-Semitism and anti-Israel attitudes. It just won't be right as Jews, as Israelis. And I think that what the lady here did was perfect, because she managed to bring, I think, pretty much every single lie or every single point which is being made by real anti-Israel people. So I don't think we missed anything. I think it was good.
Just want to say.
Sorry, and I just want to say that to be pro-Israel doesn't necessarily mean to be anti-Palestinian. You can be pro-Israel and pro-Palestinian from a humanitarian point of view at the same time. So the one doesn't necessarily cancel out the other.
I just want to say that not a word that I said this afternoon did I suck out of my thumb. Every single word is found on Palestinian websites on the internet. Every single line, every single word. It's unbelievable. And the tragedy is that you go into the internet and you're looking up something and you'll find, I don't know, 50 Palestinian websites and one Israeli website, or one that will give you the other side to it. And this is what is happening. People are getting a completely different, wrong, lying narrative. Okay, but nothing that I said today did I suck out of my thumb. I found it all.
There was a question right at the back.
It's a question for Ben Dror. You just said that you believe in two-state solution for the nation. But at the same time, you say that you gave also a lot of sources early in the morning. You said that they don't really want to accept this solution. They don't really come and say, we want this solution. So what is your solution for now? Like, you want to sit down 5 years, 10, 20 years and wait for them, or do you have other solution, like to do something now?
The question is, how does one solve the problem of the two-state solution? Do you do it now? Do you wait 5 years? How do you deal with it?
First of all, I think the Israeli policy, it's my opinion, I'm not representing any kind, I'm not a spokesman, not of the embassy, not of the government. I think that every Israeli government should strive for peace, should put on the table all the time the wish to achieve peace. That's my opinion. And you know what, let me tell you, I don't think that we Israelis are doing it enough. I don't think the Israeli government is doing it enough. I'm not a spokesman of the government. In my articles, you can find a lot of criticism against the Israeli government. But I know what so many other people don't know, to distinguish between a legitimate criticism and double standard, demonization, delegitimization, and so on. That's all. Now, what should be the solution? I'm not a politician. Of course, I have my solution. According to my solution, Israel should unilaterally declare about we accept the peace plan of Olmert, of Clinton, and we do not keep on with the occupation. You have your own state, but we keep all the measure because all the security measures in the West Bank. Nothing more than this is my solution. I'm not sure that it is accepted by most Israelis or by the Israeli government. I guess not, unfortunately. I mean, I have my own way. I think that's why it was already mentioned that I was offered by Tzipi Livni to join her party, and I decided not to do it because of my reasons. I do feel good with what I'm doing now. I didn't want to be a Knesset member, but it's my. But if you ask me, yes. I mean, I published it. I do support a solution. I don't want any occupation anymore. But I do understand the other voices that are against me, because I showed what Abbas Sarki is saying. I showed what other people are saying. I showed what I didn't show you all. I mean, how leaders of Fatah saying the same things that the Hamas people are saying. I don't want to tire you. I don't want to take so many video clips and to show you again and again. No, you know what? Because I am willing to forgive anybody, even if yesterday he declared that he supports the extermination of Israel. I'm willing, in one condition, that he accept my existence. That's all. So I'm for peace. But I'm giving you the examples of what they are saying, leaders of the Hamas and leaders of the Fatah, just in order to understand the realities, the difficulties that we are facing as a public in Israel. We are facing. So if my opinion is not accepted, I at least understand it. I do not demonize the other people who think differently than me. I do not. I just don't want lies to be on the table anymore. We had enough.
One more question? Did anybody have their hand? Yes.
Yeah. So it's like a point and then followed by a question. So like there's a lot of talk about like the reality, and firstly like in terms of like finding information and like having a real debate, like and finding information from like the internet. The thing about that is that you can really find any information you want on the internet, and similarly, so you can find like anti-Palestinian rhetoric about Palestine from the Israeli side on the internet. Similarly, you could find it the other way around. So I don't know if it's really fair to do that. And the reality is, and the beauty of university actually is that once you get into university, you're exposed to many different cultures, and going into university, you see like Muslims walking around, and you like growing up in a Jewish community, you feel like, oh no, you can't speak to them; they're completely the enemy. And anyway, that's how I felt. And once going into university, after speaking to Muslims, you find it's not the case that all of them are anti-Semitic, and that all of them are anti-Zionist. And it's a problem in Israel and like Palestinian territories and in South Africa that there aren't Jews and Muslims engaging with each other, and through what's it, dogma, which would be example. I think we should be really saying like we want to engage, and doing it ourselves, and not and willingly, not saying not having any preconditions to any sort of dialogue, but just going and speaking to Muslims, and they really do appreciate it, and say thank you for coming to speak to me, because the kind of reaction they've had is often negative. Similarly in Israel and in the West Bank, the kind of Jew that a Palestinian would has seen is an army person. So you